Welcome back to CryptosRUs. I am George. We're all George. So today I want to talk about Bitcoin's second wave. Yes, Bitcoin does have a second wave, and I do have something to show you guys that indicates that it is coming. And of course, Bitcoin is doing fantastic. Let's take a look at some of these important indicators that is smashed through, and let's talk about the infrastructure bill, and then let me give you an update on that as well. So thanks for tuning in. As always, smash out a like, subscribe to the channel. 2 streams every day, 11:30 and 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So make sure you hit that notification bell and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and check out all the latest news, articles, and guides on CryptosRUs.com. Welcome, guys. Welcome. A lot of people tuned in because today we see Bitcoin go up a little bit more. So we're pressing right against 46,000. In fact, we were a little bit above. Yeah, 46.2. And you could see last night, due to some fear over, what transpired in the Senate with the infrastructure bill, looked like Bitcoin was coming down a little bit, but you know what? This morning, boom, right back up, right around 46,000. Can we see 50,000 around the corner? Well, if this continues and the shorts keep getting liquidated, and we see more short squeezes, then possibly. So there's 2 important indicators that I've been noticing a lot of people talking about, and I've been talking about one of them, and they were both smashed. So today, a lot of people's looking at this right here, and that is the 200-day moving average. And you could see that this is a red line, and you could see, boom, right when Bitcoin passed it, it kind of pumped up a little bit. And overall, if you look at the 50 and a 200-day, and whether or not we're going to cross and make a golden cross, well, it's coming. You could see that the 50-day is swinging up really, really quickly. And if we continue our momentum, we're going to have that golden cross just like this in May of 2020. And then you can see what happened after that, right? So we had this death cross, and we went sideways. We went down a little bit, but now we are recovering in a big way. And another indicator is on the weekly, the 20-day weekly average. I've been telling you guys this. We shattered through that too. So now this is also looking positive. So 2 major indicators a lot of TA people like to look at. Well, Bitcoin just broke through them. And this is obviously very, very bullish and just setting up the stage for the second wave. But not just because of these indicators. Well, according to Plan B, right, of course, the guy who sticks with his stock to flow model, and so far it has held, and he has given some pretty good predictions himself. But he tweeted this out comparing where we are now versus previous rallies and previous pumps, and basically measures what has happened after a halving event, because we know the 4-year cycle and the bull run, the pump that comes with it, is generally after the halving event, generally like a year or a year and a half after the halving event. And this compares the growth. And you could see that he has 2 green lines drawn. One is the stock to flow model, one is the stock to flow X model, and they measure things differently. But looking at our current growth, which is the red line, you can see that we were right in between the 2013 pump and the 2017 pump. We were right in the middle. And then we dropped down a little bit. But now it looks like we want to continue up. Just like in 2013, you could see the teal, how it went down pretty drastically, and then it could just continue up, going parabolically. In 2017, the blue line, you see the smaller dips here and there, and it just kept going. And right now, that's what we're seeing. If Bitcoin continues higher, is it going to hit the stock to flow model at 100,000, or is it going to go higher and hit the stock to flow X model, which is somewhere around 200 and 250,000, or are we going to go even higher? If we mimic 2013, which I think is unlikely. But if we did, that would put Bitcoin closer to $1 million by the end of this run. So yeah, so it's looking like Bitcoin is definitely on track to form its second wave. We are definitely ready after hitting that local 29,000 bottom. Now we are going up. We're going up, and I'm looking forward to it. Right. So today, obviously, step in the right direction. 46,000. Can we hit 50,000? Sure. That's less than 10% away. Can we hit 50,000 in the near future? Definitely. And what about 60,000? Yes, we could definitely hit 60,000 right after we hit 50,000. All right. So someone just sent a huge super chat that is spamming a Telegram channel. So I'm gonna have to time out that person. But you could see, yeah, we're at 46,000. There's really no resistance up to 50,000. After 50,000, boom, 60,000. After 60,000, does anyone question that 100,000 will be around the corner? Certainly not me. So things are moving back really, really, really quickly, and I'm looking forward to the second wave. All right, so what else is there? Well, I saw this. No, Bitcoin isn't entering a 2018 like bear cycle like some have suggested. I don't know why people like to suggest silly things like this, but this measures long-term holders versus short-term holders, meaning people that have held Bitcoin for over a year versus people that have held it simply 3 to 6 months. This is harder to read, but you could see that the very dark, like the purple shade, is people that have held for more than a year. And then the lighter color, the orange, is between 3 to 6 months. And this is measuring the last time Bitcoin came down from 2018 to 2020. You could see the huge spikes, but not only the spikes, you could see the color, the purple, was very, very high, meaning that even long-term holders, after holding a year, they were panicked and they sold. But if you look at what has happened right now over the last few months, you could see the long-term holders are not selling at all. It's just more the short-term holders that are selling. So this kind of measures how it's different now versus before. But then if you think about it, it makes sense. Why would long-term holders be selling? Even when Bitcoin dropped to 29,000, it didn't drop to 3,000. It's still more than 10x higher than just even a year and a half ago, right? So of course it makes sense. Long-term holders now are going to be long-term holders pretty much forever because they're up thousands to tens of thousands to millions of percent. Why would any short-term volatility scare them off, right? So it's really just about short-term holders, but even if you measure that, it's still tame versus before. So according to this, are we in a 2018 kind of fall, like a bear cycle? Have we started a bear cycle for the next 3 years? Certainly not. And this is one of those indicators that tells you why. All right, what else is there? Someone said, be pro price prediction when Bitcoin hits 100,000. I don't know. Let me make sure I didn't miss anything else. There we go. All right. What else is there? Well, let's talk about the infrastructure bill update. Last night, there was some fun because Ted Cruz, who we know is trying to amend the infrastructure bill with his own amendment, he came out and said, "Oh, it's all over. The thing is done. There's no more amendments. Crypto's gonna be screwed." And people were like, "What? This is horrible, right?" But it turned out that was not the case. that was not the case at all. So, of course, Senator Cynthia Lummis, she's been very pro crypto, pro innovation. She's been fighting. So they're still debating which agreements to let in and which ones that they're going to exclude. And it seems like this morning there's been some kind of new amendment or vote on this new amendment from Toomey Loomis and I forgot the other guy. Toomey Loomis, Warner Portman Sema. It looks like, yeah, there's a compromise with all of them now. So there was like 3 different amendments. One from this Ted Cruz himself. There's one from Warner and Cinema, and then there's one from Toomey, Loomis, and Portman. I think I might be getting the names wrong now, but they had their own amendments. But now they're all working together, okay, to make sure that the definition of a broker is accurately defined within the infrastructure bill, so that tax reporting, right, can be excluded from non-brokers. Meaning, if you're a developer, okay, if you're a validator, if you're a miner, so these kind of entities are not brokers, so that they don't have to collect financial information and give it to the IRS. This is something I talked about with Rob yesterday during our episode of DCA, and those of you guys that tuned in, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I did. I really like these DCA episodes. But anyways, Rob runs a Cardano pool. I didn't know that. And Swag Stake Pool is also one of my partners. And I was just thinking, like, it's impossible for like a pool to be able to collect all that information and give it to the IRS. It just doesn't make any sense. It would just shut down so much. The innovation would basically stop on so many levels and so many fronts. And basically, U.S. would be locked down while everyone else is going to be, ahead of the game. But anyways, it seems like this is still being worked on and still being debated. So this is not over yet. So despite what Ted Cruz was indicating last night, how this whole thing is over and crypto's done forever, no, that's not the case. They're still debating over this. So there's still time to call your local representative and tell them that you want to support the new amendment from Toomey, Loomis, Warner, Portman, and Cinema. They're all working together now to making sure that the broker definition is defined right within the infrastructure bill. So this is also pretty positive. This is also very positive, very, very positive, especially for those of us in the U.S., right? Now, besides this, what else is there? Circle. This is kind of, I don't know if this is surprising or not. I think it makes sense, but I think this will disappoint a lot of people. So basically, Circle came out and said, we are willing, okay, to become, we are willing to operate under supervision of the Fed, the U.S. Treasury, the OTCC, and FDIC, because they want to become a full reserve national digital cryptocurrency bank. What does that mean? Well, they want to be a bank that offers USDC and maybe possibly other services, DeFi services or traditional lending services, but they want to become basically a national bank. And of course, in order to do that, you have to basically give up and say that you're going to be under supervision of the big boys, all the regulators that control the banks in this country, right? So on one hand, to me, it sounds like this makes sense. It'll be a big deal for Circle. They're going to increase their customers, their services by 100-fold, 1,000-fold if this happens, right? But on the other hand, then they're no longer a crypto company anymore, and they're being supervised or looked at by all the big boys. So then again, they're like half now. They're not really a crypto company anymore. They're more like a bank. So I don't know. I don't know what you guys feel about this, whether or not you like this or you don't. I know for Circle, if this happens, it's big, but for the rest of us, I don't know. Anyways, so just thought I'd share that. What else is there? Okay, here's a Genesis Q report. And in case you're wondering, who's Genesis? Genesis is the parent company of Grayscale. So obviously they have some interesting data, but they released their 2021 Q2 market observation report, which highlights various things. But one of the biggest things they highlighted is that DeFi and Ethereum is definitely increasing. Interest in them have increased dramatically, and BTC interests have died down a little bit. So according to this highlighted area, BTC trading accounted for roughly 47% of the firm's overall spot trading activity, down from 80% from a year ago. So trading activity went from 80% overall to 47%. ETH took most of that share from BTC, with ETH accounting for roughly 25%. 25% for ETH, 47% for BTC. Starting to catch up, just like the overall market cap, right? And Genesis also saw continued demand for altcoins this quarter, with the outperformance of ETH over BTC in the first half of Q2. Trading in Uniswap, Sushi, Aave, and other Ethereum-based DeFi protocols picked up. Genesis also saw an increase in trading for some ETH competitors like Solana and BNB, Binance Coin, and ETH gas prices skyrocketed during the market run-up, which led investors to search for cheaper ways to participate in the ecosystem. So it makes sense, right? During Q1, Q2, before EIP 5059, Ethereum gas price was sky high. And that's why you have layer 2s and you have competitors that have come up tremendously, because DeFi projects started to look at other chains to move to, and investors were looking at the next Ethereum. But now with Ethereum burning ETH at a tremendous rate, you know what? I don't know if that's going to continue forward. So let's take a look at this. 18,000 ETH burned. That's a lot. $57 million worth of ETH. That's within just a few days. That's less than a week. $57 million of ETH just poof, gone, right? So this definitely makes Ethereum interesting again. No, I take that back. Makes it more interesting than ever. That's the better way to put it. Because yes, congestion is still there, but now congestion is leading to burning, which makes it deflationary. Now, does this make up for all the new ETH that's being released per day? No, but it's cutting into that. And when you take into account DeFi and the beacon chain locking up or staking, you put all that together, well, ETH is really deflationary. So that's why ETH is doing fantastic, and that's why I don't think this report is really any surprise, because yes, there is a lot of people that is getting into Ethereum and ETH at this point. Lastly, I saw this. This is pretty funny. Someone sold 24,000 gold futures contract today, pushing the price down by $100 in a couple of minutes. So if you thought BTC was the only commodity that was being manipulated, think again. Someone did that to gold this morning. Normally you don't hear that, and gold is so solid, right? Meaning that the price really doesn't fluctuate that much. For it to be driven down by $100 out of the blue by one trader, that's a pretty big deal. But it does show that gold is also vulnerable, right? Some may argue that this is paper gold. It's not the same as spot, like real gold. Nevertheless, the price per ounce is being affected by the traders, and this happens with gold too. All right. Outside of that, I think let's refresh Live Coin Watch. Look at the market cap nearing 1.9 trillion. So pretty substantial increase over the last few days. Bitcoin dominance came up a little bit, 46% from 45%. But look at it. I mean, like 24-hour, almost everything. Yeah, in the top 50, not one is in red. That shows you how good of a day it is. And you know what? I'm just curious. I didn't check liquidations. I just want to check. And yeah, a lot of shorts being wrecked. We haven't seen, I think, any huge short squeezes yet. But if Bitcoin pushes above 50,000, this is going to go up tremendously, and we're going to see some more of it. But right now, not a good time to be shorting Bitcoin. I don't know. There's really no time that's good to be shorting Bitcoin. You're just setting yourself up to get wrecked. I mean, that's really what it comes down to, is if you want to get wrecked and you want to do it in a very quick way, then you go short Bitcoin. Otherwise, you could take profits, you can sell off some Bitcoin, but if you short it, that's the surest way to get yourself wrecked. Just don't do it. All right, guys, let's do some Q&A. Man, 7,000 people watching. Smash up the likes, subscribe if you are new to the channel. Three certainties from Zach. Crypto's the future, taxes, and George 1 million subscribers by December. I really hope so. My growth has been tremendous thanks to you guys, and I hope to get that gold plaque from YouTube, you know, so looking forward to that. There's another certainty, death. You forgot death in there, Zach. Thoughts on LivePeer? You know, I haven't paid attention to LivePeer. I know that they got their own trust. They got added in Coinbase. They're a decentralized streaming platform that's built on Ethereum. Hopefully they picked a layer 2 because that doesn't make a lot of sense. But I've always supported Theta more. I think Theta has greater potential, but there are a lot of backers on LivePeer. So maybe they could get their act together and could do something really good. But right now, it seems like they're still second fiddle. But you know, I'll pay more attention to them. I haven't kept up with any of their recent developments. All right, scrolling down. Yeah, people ask about Pi Network. I never really looked into it. Just something seemed off about it. But anyways, maybe it was Peter Schiff. He may Peter Schiff recently did tweet about he went on a trip with Brock Pierce and he wished he bought Bitcoin earlier so he could afford a jet like that. Paul asked about, what do you think about Zero Knots, first sustainability assessment platform in crypto that's just launched? Would be happy what you think about the idea behind it. It sounds like, Paul, you are a founder of that project. So, yeah, if you want me to look at it, email me. But I don't want to look at it right now. I'll tell you this. There's a lot of projects recently that use really silly names, yet they claim they're a serious company. So I had one recently that was like something stupid, like something with moon in the name. And the whole project is about, again, a deflationary token with no use case, and it's go to the moon. And the guy was arguing with me, yeah, no, we're different. We have this whole new thing, and we're a serious project. No, you're not. You're still a meme coin trying to cap on, you know, the meme industry. So your Zero Knots, that name sounds exactly like that too. Doug, maybe they bought BDC, maybe. Well, I don't know. It's future, so I doubt it. Matt says another great DCA show last night. It seems like James isn't so sure about Cardano's future as ETH 2.0 comes aboard. What are your thoughts? Cardano's not gonna go away. ETH 2.0, once it comes out, it's go only get bigger for Ethereum, I believe. But Cardano is not going away. Charles, you know, still has tremendous respect from so many people in this space, and they are still sitting at number 5. Let's not forget, it's not like they died down. So they are still holding very well. Once Goguen is done and the whole ecosystem really starts blossoming, I think you're going to see some movement with Cardano. They could be right at number 3, right behind them. Or they could just stay, you know, neck and neck with Binance Coin, with Binance Smart Chain. I don't think Cardano's going to go away. I lost track of where I was in the live chat here. I'm not into projects like Harvest Farm, like these yield farm plays. Nope. The gold was Peter Schiff getting to Bitcoin. Maybe. I have a feeling. Peter Schiff will get in. And you know, Max Kaiser also predicted this too. He said he believes that Peter will finally cave into Bitcoin at 50,000. Maybe. We're nearing that again, maybe we're going to see that again. Phil. Yeah, I apologize for vacuuming. They came at the wrong time, so apologize for that. What's a Cartesi? It's a layer 2 for Ethereum. So there's a lot of layer 2s out there. They got added on Coinbase and kind of shot them up a little bit. But overall, there's a lot of layer 2s. I stick with the bigger ones like Polygon. I think Polygon is still a fantastic play, even though they came down a little bit. They were very, 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 very hot. Obviously, look at it. In 1 year, they have gone up 5,000%. So they have shot up so much. They have come down a little bit from their recent highs, but still, I think when it comes to layer 2s, kind of stick with the big boys at this point. Although there are a lot of other Ethereum compatible chains that are also doing very well too. For example, Harmony, which I still very much like. Dan says, I keep seeing people mention taking profits on the way up. I only have less than 1 BTC. Would you rather sell half and buy back and layer? No, I mean, but profit taking is important if you don't have money on the side, okay? So if you want to be able to take advantage of the dips, you got to have money on the side. And if you're all in, Dan, and Bitcoin, then unfortunately when things go down, you can't buy the dips, right? But if you continue to hodl, that's fine. Eventually, it's going to come back up and form a new high. But when people mention about profit taking, it's more to protect themselves, especially if they're too long. They're too in it, and they don't have really any money on the side to be able to take advantage. So for me, I've said after Bitcoin hits above 64,000 and continues higher, 70, 80, 90, I'm going to start taking a little bit off the top, 10% off the top as it goes higher, right? And as we get closer and closer to maybe that peak, right, then I'll have all this cash on the side to be able to buy the dip if we do dip down again. But I'm going to leave a lot of it in and just not touch it. And regardless if it goes up or down, it's just going to be held in my wallet. So that's my philosophy. What do you think about Hedera? I don't know. Hedera is a little bit too corporate. They operate differently. They're not open source. Hashgraph is not open source. They licensed it, and all these projects they bring on board as part of console, which they include into their LLC. It's really a weird setup, and the console votes on decision making. But right now, there's not that many console members, so the decision making is still made by the Hedera foundation. So it's a little bit more corporate than, say, a true open source project where governance by the people dictates the direction of the company. So it's a little bit different. I did interview, I think his name, I forgot his name. Shoot. Mance. I think it's Mance. I did interview him before, so take a look at my interview video. What do you think about VET and where it'll be by December of 2022? I don't know. Quite honestly, I'm really sick of hearing questions like, where do you think this will be by end of December? It's impossible. It's impossible to be right. Basically, everyone's just throwing guesses out there. I do think Bitcoin will be above 100,000. So with that, I think all the altcoins will have a multiplier. So they will be 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x higher, or their gains will have a multiplier, let's say. So if Bitcoin could go up 3x, then someone like VeChain could go up 5x, 6x, 10x from there, right? So I do think there is a multiplier. I think most of these big caps and a lot of these promising projects, they will move much faster than Bitcoin on the way up. So you do the math. You do the math. Chris asked, fair launch or pre-sale? Fair launch, of course, is better for everyone, but for insiders, for investors, of course, they want to get in on a pre-sale. I don't think pre-sale will ever go away. For crypto projects, there's a lot of pre-sales or angel sales or seed rounds, and there's a lot of it, right? But obviously, if you have just a fair launch, that would be the fairest, but not a whole lot of new projects are like that. Is it now a good time to DCA into Cosmos? I expected a big jump once the bridge is released. What's your thoughts? It's never a bad time. Cosmos is one of those, protocols that is doing very, very well. They have a robust ecosystem. I hear their DEX does not have a interface yet, and they do have a bridge that's also coming. So those are big things. Do I think IOST has a future? Yeah, but I'm not big on the project. Alright. Still scrolling down here. The vacuuming has stopped. What is a good wallet? A really good mobile wallet, if you're looking for one, is Trust Wallet. Trust Wallet is actually really, really, really nice. And you have a whole bunch of dApps in there, so you can connect to SushiSwap, Uniswap, PancakeSwap, Dodo, all these other ones, and you can connect to OpenSeas and NFT marketplaces. So I think TrustSwap is really, really nice for a mobile wallet. And it's non-custodial. It has a recovery phrase, and your private key is not stored with them. What is it? If you want a hardware wallet, then look into the big boys like Ledger and Treasure. So, just not as convenient, but more secure, even more secure. Germany institution gets to buy crypto today. No, that was last week. That was reported last week, not this week. Unless that was a misreport and it was this week, which is why Bitcoin went up. But it was supposed to be last week. Why delete a $200 promo? No spam, we need unique projects. Chris, are you part of that team or something? What? Or are you the person that gave it in the first place? I don't know what you're doing, Chris. Elrond. Man, I don't hear anyone talking about Elrond. I don't hear anything about Elrond these days. I just don't know. I don't know what they're doing these days. I'm assuming doing what everyone else is doing is onboarding DeFi and NFT projects, but I have not heard anything. When alts will really start to pump? Probably in a few months. Alts really start pumping during like the last few months of a cycle. So in 2017, they really started pumping like December and January. And when they pump really, 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 really fast. So that's why I say you gotta have a balanced portfolio. If you're too heavy in alts sometimes, you just realize that that's not the right move. You're actually losing BTC because BTC goes up higher than some of these alts. So if you have a diversified portfolio, then you don't have to worry about it. Would you trade LeBron for Lillard long term? No. I'm not a Lillard fan at all. I'm not a fan of his at all. He has not shown that he can perform under the most, pressure situations. And plus, I think he's just too little. Too little for the NBA. Thoughts on C2Fi funding changing their focus to strictly being a gaming blockchain? Does that make it seem like it's a good long-term hold? No. Doesn't really mean anything. All right. You heard me, Marcus. I never use SafePal, so I can't comment. But I hear a lot of people talking about them. Swissberg also never used. Excuse me, because they're not open to the U.S. So Austin, no, he's not. Lillard at most is 6'2". He is taller than CP3, but Steph is a solid 6'4". Lillard is not bigger than Steph Curry. Have I made a price prediction for a B Pro? No, I have not. But it's around a cent right now. It was as high as like 3 or 4 cents. I definitely think it could get back there. But I think the potential for B Pro is pretty good, pretty high. I think they could do very well. They're cash flow positive. They've been like that for quite some time. They don't rely on their tokens to survive like many other projects. And their new NFT marketplace code base is already being adopted by many in the space. So I think they're going to do well. Alex asks, if you missed a recent low, what prices would you look at now to buy BTC or ETH? Is DCA? Yeah, I think right now it's just DCA. You know, when there's a real obvious buying point, like if Bitcoin falls 50%, you know, like during these times, I've said it, there's a lot of bargains to be had. And when things are low and when it's scary out there, that's when you buy, right? But outside of these like very, very obvious points where you should be buying, like right now, you know, can we dip from here? Sure. Will there be more volatility in the future? Sure. You know, no one could really predict it that accurately. So I think the best point is just to DCA and just spread out your buys. And that's the best way to go forward. All right. Do you think my vintage Spider-Man cards will appreciate value? I didn't even know they had Spider-Man cards. Spider-Man comic books, yes. I don't know about Spider-Man cards. Anyways, all right, I'll let you guys go. Overall, is Bitcoin going to get into a second wave and head higher? I do think so. Look at what Plan B has posted. There's 2 targets, one at 100,000 and one at somewhere between 100,000 and 1 million, probably somewhere around 250,000, right? And if you compare our current path versus 2013, 2017, you can see that we're right on schedule. And we can end up right in the middle somewhere, and that will push Bitcoin well above $100,000. And I do think that is coming. I do think that's coming. So, thanks for tuning in. As always, smash the like, subscribe to the channel. Tune in tonight, 8:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. I have more to show you guys. All right, have a good one, guys. Take care.